I know I was already on here once before talking about when God tests you, and I guess he just see fit to keep throwing them my way, Jesus. But with that being said, this particular test here, it was more of a divine detour. And many times, when it seems like something is delayed or the Lord is testing you or allowing you to be tested, if it's the enemy, you got to go through a process for if the Lord is strengthening you and equipping you and purging you and purifying you and just making you into the man or woman that he always spoke and known and ordained. Thank you, Holy Spirit, you to be. But then there are those times where the Lord is just testing you because he sees fit to test you. This particular divine detour, I was like, God, you already tested me on this. You told me I passed this. You told me I've overcome this. You told me I would never be tested on this particular thing again. Like I have victory over this. So why the test? With God, with me, and many times when you get revelation, that's when you know you've passed it. That's when you know you've conquered it. That's when you know you've completed it. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So this particular test, the Lord just revealed to me that this detour was my doing, the Lord's doing. And he allowed it because he was like, Synovia, this time the test is for you to endure. Thank you, Holy Spirit. What those who are assigned to you and connected to you will have to endure also. So it's like I had already passed my test. I had already endured it. I had already overcome it. I had already gotten victory. But the Lord allowed me to be tested pretty much in that same area in a new way. So we could easily look at it and be like, well, maybe I didn't hear God right. Maybe, I thought he said I passed and I didn't. No, look from a different perspective. That's why I say you always got to be intentional about asking the Lord to help you see the process of what he's doing with fresh eyes. And God won't reveal it to you until he's ready to reveal it to you, until he sees fit, until you've proven yourself and that he can trust you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. But those were his words. Not only did you pass, but I trust you now. Not saying he didn't trust me before, but if I was able to endure my own tests and my own stuff that he allowed me to go through, to make me sit in it longer as a divine detour, to make me sit in it longer just so I would have the language, just so I would have the experience, just so I would have be able to articulate what that felt like, because God saw fit that those that I'm assigned to would have to be in their process longer. They would have to feel the things that I had to sit in. Thank you, Holy Spirit. They would have to overcome what I overcame. They would have to have their divine detours as well. So I say all of this to say sometimes God has you in something, and many times Holy Spirit used to always have to remind me, this is bigger than you. You may not understand it now, but when it's all said and done, I'll make it make sense. When it's all said and done, you'll see, that I always was for you. Thank you, Holy Spirit, that I always was going to restore you, that I always was going to bring you through this. You didn't understand it while you were in it. And many of you, you're in something and you don't understand it now, but God is faithful to finish the work that he started. I've been in one of these predicaments before, to where what I had to go through was, oh gosh, I hear that so loud and clear. I hear you, Holy Spirit. Was tailor-made for not only for myself, but for my assignment. It was custom fit for my assignment. He's reminding me about David right before he fought one of the greatest battles in the Bible up against Goliath. Saul told him to put on his armor. David tried it on. It was like, no, this don't fit. Like, this isn't for me. I'm just going to come basically with my slingshot and my rock. Holy Spirit, and he's just now revealing this to me this way. He's so faithful. But this particular test, this detour was tailor-made. It was custom fit, not only for me, but for my assignment. And I know this is how the Lord works in my life, at least at this stage in this season. A lot of what I go through and a lot of what I endure, those who are assigned and connected to me, they're getting ready to be up against the same thing. But he trusts me to be able to give them language, be able to encourage them, be able to rebuke them, be able to uplift them, be able to guide them, be able to lead them, be able to, however he sees fit for what they're going through as well. So maybe God has you going through something now that maybe you passed it already. But maybe he has you going through it now because those who are going to be assigned and connected to you will be up against the same things, because God is intentional. How can I minister to someone or help them with their breakthrough? Thank you, Holy Spirit. How can I do that if I've never experienced that? How can I pour into you if I don't know, I don't have language for what you're enduring? I don't understand what you're going through. So God is very intentional about the people, thank you, Holy Spirit, that he graces in for your life, that he graces for your assignment, for your season. They're anointed for that. They're graced for that. They have language for that. They've passed the levels for that. They have been called and assigned to that. In this divine detour, this was a whole lot of stuff all at once. That's how sovereign God is. This particular test was more like, remember I talked about Paul and Silas. Sometimes God will put you in a situation where the prison doors have been opened. You got an exit strategy. You could go this way, you could go that way. Like, you got options. Thank you, Holy Spirit. But will you still sit there knowing that your assignment is there? Trust me, when I say the Lord allowed me to see options for a certain situation, other doors and other opportunities that I knew I could go through and knew that I could walk through it and knew that I could have it. But could you sit here longer for the assignment that I have you in? Can you sit here longer? Thank you, Holy Spirit, because instead of you exiting your prison, instead of you exiting this season, instead of you getting up off the altar, although it doesn't feel good, will you endure this divine detour? Because someone in that prison cell as well is going to need your breakthrough. It's going to need you, thank you, Holy Spirit. You're going to be the key, thank you, Holy Spirit, to get them out of their prison. So that's why I said sometimes you just got to be intentional about asking God. Sometimes he's not going to tell you why you are being tested or what the test is. You got to be okay with that too. But then there are those times where he trusts you. Once you come through it, he begins to give you revelation and provision and wisdom and begins to make it all make sense. But like I said, this particular one, it wasn't even for me. It was for those that are assigned and connected to me, what they're going to go through. So I had to take that detour for them. I had to sit in that uncomfortable place for them. I had to submit and surrender to that for them. I had to stay in that prison for them. Them means you, many of you. I'm not anybody special. I'm just somebody that God saw fit to say, hey, I chose you to go through this. Because when I know you're going to come forth as pure gold, now you have language for the people coming in behind you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Like John the Baptist, he paved the way. He was the trailblazer. Sometimes God is calling you to be that trailblazer in your family, that trailblazer in your marriage, that trailblazer in your generation, in your bloodline. And sometimes many of us, God, why me? Why you pick me? Why my marriage? Why my life? Why my health? Why my family? Why my children? Why me? Why not you? Why not you? God is trusting you with your assignment. He's trusting you. That pit is prophetic. That prison is prophetic. That lion's den is prophetic. Everything that you're going through, that battle is prophetic. Sometimes you're going through it just for you, for curses that you need to break, traumas that you need to break, strongholds that you need to pull down. But many times God sees fit for you to go through it so you can minister and help someone else, so you can pull somebody else coming in behind you. So I hope this gave you some encouragement just to sit a little longer. I know it's uncomfortable. I know you're tired of being in that place. I know you don't understand this particular thing. I've been silent about. I've been silent about because I know when I'm up against something or I'm going through something, I sit in it to get whatever language I need from it, to get whatever experience, to get whatever lessons. I sit in it and I'm intentional about gaining what was supposed to be gained, because there's no L's with God, only lessons. So I'm intentional about being sensitive to what do I need to pay attention to in this place that's uncomfortable, because I know when it's all said and done, when he brings me out, when he finally gives me revelation for this, it's going to make sense. So just sit in it, because it's going to click when it's supposed to click. It's going to make sense when it's supposed to make sense. The dots are going to connect when it's supposed to connect. Remember, I talked about the puzzle pieces. It'll all come together when it's supposed to. If it hasn't come together yet, it's not time for it yet. Your job is to just endure. Will you continue to be faithful to God? Will you continue to have a good heart posture? Will you continue to have a good attitude? Will you continue to be positive? Will you continue to remain steadfast? Will you continue to be in a posture of expectation? Will you continue to serve God? Will you continue to be faithful to God? Will you continue to be faithful to your promise, knowing that whatever he started, he shall finish. He will finish. Just get through it. I know it hurts, but get through it. You want to get up, get through it. It doesn't make sense, get through it. It's painful, get through it. You're tired, get through it.